Okay, so yes, we talked about, so as we all know, starting from 7 onwards, chapter 7 onwards, it's all about bhakti, right? So this chapter is kind of the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. So if you see, it's the cream of Bhagavad Gita now. Right. First of all, the top six are Karma Yoga, right? Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and the lower ones were Jnana Yoga. So the middle one is Bhakti Yoga. Right? So, so this is the best portion in the middle six chapters even. So we remember chapter six, we concluded at Nishkam Karma Yoga. It was all about that. So raise your consciousness to be steady. Right? Become a steady, become a fixed meditator on the Supreme. Right? And so then Krishna towards the end said, Yogi Napi Sarvesha Madgatena Antaratmana. So that was the precursor Krishna gave of the chapters that are going to come now, which is which is 7 and onwards. That's what Krishna was giving a precursor of, right? So can somebody tell me what did we talk about in the seventh, or just okay? Let me see. How would you define chapter 7 and 8 if somebody asked you in one sentence, right? Like if it is about bhakti, what was seventh chapter about from a bhakti perspective? Think of it, the chapter, and try to look at it from a broader perspective, the whole chapter, and think of it. How would you define, how would you in a sentence say was the seventh chapter? What was it about if somebody asks you? No one remembers chapter 7? Anybody remembers any verse from chapter 7?
Yeah, I can tell. I can give it a try.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh,
First, you remember, right, what seventh chapter was about? Do you have some vague idea at least about what Krishna was speaking about, right? So with that thought in mind, try to, if you can possibly concise it into a sentence, what was it about Krishna?
it's about how Krishna, it was about various aspects of Krishna, about where we can see if we are not able to directly be devoted to Krishna, then we can try to see Krishna in various aspects of in the world. Like there
Hmm.
are
Yeah,
demigods.
yeah,
So
that's a
we
good one.
can,
Yes, yeah. He was the seventh chapter in one sense. It established that Krishna is the essence of everything.
yeah.
We start getting knowing Krishna personally, right? Rasoham apsu konteya prabhashmishra suryo parnava sarvavid. So he was saying, I'm the taste of water and I'm the light of moon and uh, kamo bhartarshava, right? Dharma viruddha bhuteshu. I'm all the sexual relationship which is according to dharma. I'm that. So yes, Krishna was talking about all that. He talked about demigods. So yes, so seventh chapter was more about knowing Krishna personally in one sense. That's so yeah, thank you for saying that. Okay, and what was eighth chapter? How would you define eighth chapter? Anyone else wants to take a shot at that?
Eighth chapter was how to attain him or how to reach Krishna.
Hmm. So
Or yeah, devotional service is the route.
devotional service. Sorry, I didn't
Is
get
the
the
way
last.
to attain him.
Yes, so we talked about yoga, and then Krishna talked about yoga in different ways. Like he talked about mixed bhakti, right? If you all remember, there was karma mishra bhakti, yoga mishra bhakti. Krishna in the after telling that about death, and you know that if you remember me, then the Krishna jumps onto mishra bhakti, right? Uh, what was that? That Kavir Purana Manushashitara Manoraniyamsha Manusmare Deha Sarvasya Dhata Ramachinta Rupam. Aditya Varnam Tamasha Prasharta. So Krishna was talking about Mishra Bhakti, that, oh, you can remember me this way. That Pranikale Mansa Chalena Bhaktya Yukto Yog Balena Chaiva. Bhruvor Madhye Pranam Aveshada Samyak Sayad Param Purusham Upeti Divya. So, like, focus it between your eyes. So, yeah, so he was talking about mixed, but towards the end, in the last verse, Krishna summarizes the whole chapter. He says, Vedeshu Yageshu Tapashu Chaiva, Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pratishtha. That Shuddha Bhakti is the best. Yes, you all can do Mishra Bhakti, Karma Mishra, Yoga Mishra, mixed Bhakti, but Shuddha Bhakti is the best. That's what Krishna established. That's what we remember from the last verse, if I just can pull that, show you quickly. Right? So this was a Vedeshu Yageshu. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. So fruitive activities, karma yoga, philosophical is jnana yoga, and austerities, that's, dhyan yoga and all that, matha yoga. Then there are scholars who are studying the Veda. Everything can be achieved by devotional service. So Krishna finally established what is Shuddha Bhakti in one sense. That's his chapter. Right? Vedishu Advesha. Now from there on, we are entering ninth chapter. So Krishna has already established Shuddha Bhakti is the best. So this ninth chapter will establish what is that Shuddha Bhakti. Right? This knowledge will generate love in our heart for Krishna. And you will see that, so Krishna will right away start it with Shraddha and Anasuya. Right? That is prerequisites for entering Bhakti. So that'll be the first three verses, right? He'll start with that. So there will be, so Krishna is now going to elaborate on what Shuddha Bhakti is. That's what we're going to talk about.
Also, Prabhu, like in the eighth one, right? He focused on the journey, journey of the soul, essentially, after death, right? So essentially, the end result of all the activities he has been previously talking about, mind control, karma yoga, gyan, whatever, right? So that's one thing he concluded with, that if you do all of this, this is what's going to happen in the end. You will reside in me.
Yes. Yeah. So that's basically that's what he's establishing, that whatever you do, you can achieve that by devotional service. So he established the supremacy of devotional service. Yes. Okay. So so we'll start the ninth chapter, and let me quickly show you the acronyms. The acronyms for this are King, right? So he's going to talk about his relationships. He's going to again bring the concept of demigods in there. He's going to glorify bhakti over 10 or so verses. Initially, it's about the knowledge. So basically, whenever a good speaker starts speaking, he will give you what he's going to speak about. Then he will discuss that. He will bring in that discussion, he'll bring examples, so many things. And then eventually, at the end, he'll wrap up, he'll summarize everything. That's how a good speaker speaks. And that's what the quality of Krishna we will see. And that's the quality of Prabhupada also, if you see his purport. Right? And so let's get on to the verses. One, let me stop sharing. So it's called the most confidential knowledge. So the word here is guhyatamam. That's what is most confidential, right? The most confidential. So the word guhya means confidential. And let me going back here. So there are 3 degrees that Krishna is talking about in Bhagavad Gita, right? So he talked of something that is confidential. That was guhya. That was in 2nd and 3rd chapter. Then he came to guhyataram. That was more confidential. That he came to in the 7th and 8th chapter. And now Krishna is giving us guhyatamam, most confidential. So these degrees, this is Sanskrit grammar, as you can see. There is no suffix. That's the basic confidential. You put a taram as a suffix, it becomes more confidential. You put a tamam as a suffix, it becomes most confidential. So whenever you see these words added at the suffix, you can understand that it's talking about different levels of the same thing, right? And one thing I wanted to highlight before I jump in, that you'll see a lot of similarities between chapter 7 and 9. There will be a mention of hearing, stress on hearing, which Krishna also did in the 7th chapter. That's true, no? And similarly, there will be a talk of demigods also in here. There'll be a reference to impersonalists here. And there'll be a mention of Krishna's relationship with the material nature, as we saw in the 7th chapter also. Mata paratram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. That I'm source of everything. I'm like the thread going through all the pearls. So Krishna is going to give us his relationship with the material nature also here. But here he will go much broader and he'll go much deeper. He'll give all his varieties and everything. So he'll go into more detail in this chapter. Okay. Now, is there anything before I jump into it? Okay, let's go to the reading then. So it's Guhyatama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjun, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart you to this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence." So now a very important quality Krishna is highlighting here is never envious of me. Now, this is something very, very interesting, that enviousness. Right? That's what is being brought about here. So before describing the knowledge, Krishna is going to build our faith in it. He's marketing the knowledge, as you would say. Right? If you get this knowledge, something will happen. What is that? Krishna is saying, relieved of all the miseries of material existence. So Krishna is telling right in the beginning, okay, this is what's going to happen once I tell you this knowledge. So yes, so that's what it is. And we talked about in the seventh chapter, there was a discussion about theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge, right? There was mentioned jnanam teham sa vijnana vidam vakshami acheta. So Krishna, there he talked about Gyan and Vigyan. What is Gyan and Vigyan? So Gyan was theoretical knowledge and Vigyan is experimental knowledge. Right? Like for example, once when Prabhupada in his Grasta life, he was at one of his friend's shop and his son would want to poke his finger in the table fan. And Prabhupada kept, no, don't do that, don't do that. Then his friend suggested him, lower the speed of the fan and let him put the finger in. So Prabhupada was giving Gyan to his son, but then he needed Vigyan to understand it. So that's what Krishna is telling us here. You have this knowledge, right? This is mentioned confidential knowledge, but then he's also added something here is realization. So he's saying, Jnana Vijnana Sahitam Yaj Gyatva Moksha Se Shuddha. So here, I'm also giving you that realization will happen. So when you hear with non-enviousness, then this Gyan will become Vigyan for you. You don't have to go under an experience. You will directly go to realization, provided you hear nicely. If you remember in the first verse of Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada talked about four levels of intelligence. The first person was who learns by hearing, right? He hears from law books, hears from shastras, and he understands stealing is not good, and I won't steal. Second class, he learns by seeing. He sees a thief being arrested by the police, so he learns. The third class intelligence is somebody who learns by experience, right? That even after hearing and seeing, they don't understand it, they have to actually go through the experience. And the fourth one is the worst class of people who don't even learn after the experience. So here Krishna is telling us, you don't even have to experience. You can go from Gyan all the way to Vigyan if you hear without envy in your heart. That's the requirement, right? So that's an important aspect being talked about here. Let's see what Prabhupada is saying. You see, in the Bhakti Samrita Sindhu, it is said that although one who has a sincere desire to render loving service to the Supreme Lord is situated in the conditional state of he is to be considered liberated. So Prabhupada is asking, just faith, having that faith in what you are doing, having that non-enviousness will take you to the liberated state. So faith is a very important aspect in here. So Krishna has mentioned this in the fourth chapter, that faithful get knowledge. So when you have it's the second verse. Let me quickly see. The second verse talks about it. Okay. No. So yes. So faith is a very important thing here. Faith is being established. Krishna is saying, if you have faith in what I'm saying, then you will achieve liberation. That's what Krishna is establishing here in this verse, right? So faith in one sense means you are open, means openness and inquisitiveness about spiritual reality. That's what it means about faith. Right? So if you see, curiosity means that there is an eagerness to learn. Faith is an assumption that I have something to learn. And just the first level of faith is inquisitiveness. People want to know, oh, these guys are always chanting. Let me see how it feels after chanting. And then they come to the next level, which is practice. They start practicing it. So faith is very, very important in what we do. Okay. So let me ask you all this question. Is faith something that Krishna gives us, or is it a human choice? What do you all think? Anybody can please answer me. My question is faith? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I think it's a human choice because faith actually helps us decide whether to go towards or away from.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody thinks that faith is a matter of divine grace, Krishna's mercy?
Oh, it's a two-way street. Like initially you start with faith, then Krishna reciprocates, then you get more faith. So it's like, it needs two to clap hands, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yes, it's both. So
I think also with faith you can get more deeper. But if one doesn't have, then the person doesn't go anywhere, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So yes, so faith in Krishna as expressed through us selecting devotional engagements is a matter of human choice. We can choose, okay, today I will, sit down in this discussion. I'll go to the temple. I'll do some service. That's the faith as a choice of matter, or as a matter of human choice. However, faith as a divine grace is experienced through deepened conviction in our heart that is coming from Krishna. So it's both things, right? It's human choice also, and it's Krishna's mercy also. So so faith is very much like, how do you say it? Exercise, working out in the gym, right? So you can build your faith by engaging in appropriate activities, just like you can build your muscles by engaging in appropriate kind of exercises, pull-ups, bench press, and shoulder press and whatnot. You can do all that. But then faith can also be built, or similarly, faith in devotional service can also be built by doing devotional activities, studying scriptures, hearing from devotees, seeking answers to doubts, and so forth, right? So just as it requires physical exercise, so faith building muscle also requires us to exert our mind intelligence, right? We need to exert our emotional muscles also by going against our feeling to, no, let's relax, no, but you still go on, right? So yeah, so we also, abstain from foods and all. So yeah, we do many things. Right? So we do things similarly in bhakti. We do things that are favorable for our devotional service, right? So, but then whether we will build muscles or not is not fully in our choice also. So that's also, we understand that. So it's both of things, similar to faith. Even bodybuilding is like that. So yes, it's both of those things. Faith comes from Krishna also, and faith is a human choice also. Right? So so what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, what Krishna is teaching us, that faith is a tool for focusing our thoughts seriously on transcendental subject matters. And what does it mean to seriously focus? Means you seriously read Bhagavad Gita. If you have doubts, you solve those doubts if you can. If not, you just be patient, and slowly those doubts will go away. So Krishna is calling upon our faith here now. And one practical way by which we all can build faith is by keeping track of all the things that give us faith. You all should make a diary and write down even a tiny incident that happened in your life that at that moment built your faith a lot. So, one day I was coming from, where was I coming from? I think I was driving from Delaware to Frederick, and we were, in crunch of time because we had to reach somewhere on time. And my tire punctured in this. It was not punctured. It punctured. So I didn't know what to do. I had a spare, but then that would be a long time. It would take me. But then you'll not believe it. The moment I parked my car on the curb, a mobile, repair guy, he just stopped behind me. That very second, he just stopped by himself. I didn't call him. I didn't ask him to stop. Nothing. He just called me, and you'll not believe it. He just fixed the puncture in my car in a minute. All done. And he was not even ready to take money also. He said, no problem. This is my first day at work. I'm just trying to do free for everybody. So I actually gave him some money. But I see that as a intervention by Krishna. Because just imagine what are the odds that there is this mobile van who's repairing tires and who's a mobile car repair guy. He's just driving there, and not like he's half an hour behind me or somewhere. He was just like, it didn't take him a minute to stop. So I see that, I was just giving you an example. I just see that as a faith building exercise. So similarly, you all might have some experiences that you could write down or remember that, oh, this thing happened, which made my faith grow stronger. So that when some days when you're down, your spiritual strength is kind of less, you can go back and tap into those faith building examples in your life. So that way you'll feel strength coming back to us. So that's a way you can do it. So that's something I just wanted to share about faith building. Okay. And the second thing that Krishna is bringing out here is envy. Now, envy, if you see envy in Sanskrit, sorry, not Sanskrit. It's what's that? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Maya, Matsarya. Those are the 6 things, right? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Maya, Matsarya. English is lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. The reason envy comes in the last, in whenever you list all these the demons that we have, is because envy contains all the other 5. Envy contains lust, contains anger, greed, illusion, pride. That is why Krishna is talking about envy here. Envy has all of those demons in it itself. And the reason we become envious because we feel we are in competition with others. In the material world, that's the way. You're setting, want to get into a college, in admission, there are limited seats. So you want to be better than others. If somebody gets through, we get envious, right? So yes, it's a material. So if you look at the material definition of happiness, it's very hard to exclude envy from it, right? So therefore, we need to redefine what happiness stands for, right? First, we need to understand that we all have an eternal relationship with Krishna. Just because Krishna is reciprocating with somebody doesn't mean that Krishna is not going to reciprocate with you. That's the difference between material and spiritual. Spiritual, Krishna is unlimited. So we don't have to be envious of anybody because Krishna is unlimited and he can give it to anybody. There is no limit to his mercy. So we don't have to be envious of anybody. Krishna is infinite and he is available for all of us, no matter what happens, right? So that's one way how to avoid envy, understanding that Krishna is there for all of us. So that's, so yes. So the reason we feel envy is because we think our happiness depends on the externals. If I get more than others, I will be happy. At the philosophical level, we need to recognize that material things are not the source of happiness. Yeah, there might be some pleasure here and there, but it is all very superficial. So we have to have a level on which we understand it philosophically, and materially also. Materially, practically, what we all can do is to avoid envy is we can stop focusing on what others have. And our Shastras give a very good example, Duryodhan. Duryodhan, he had no business staying on in the Prastha even after everyone had left. They had the Rajsuya Yaga sacrifice, and the Vishwakarma had made a very beautiful palace for them. Duryodhan was envious and he stayed back even after the Rajsuya Yaga was over. And that's when he fell in that lake that looked like a floor, and then the whole thing happened and all that. So just that's an example for all of us that we need to avoid unnecessarily focusing on what others have. That will also help us reduce our envy. Right? So that's an important thing. Right? So Lord is perfect. He is complete. We read that in the Upanishad, first verse. Om Purnamada. No, that's the invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishya. So he's full. He's complete. And everything emanating from him is also complete. But the moment we forget our connection with Krishna, envy comes in our heart. That is why we have to give up envy. Envy, basically, in one sense, how to say, we all are envious of Krishna. If you see, there is generic envy in all of us. And how to know that is, Krishna was the enjoyer, but I also want to enjoy. I want to be the center of everything. So that means I want the center of attraction to be pulled away from Krishna and brought to me. Right? So that's why we all are generic. We have instead of being Krishna conscious, we all are self-conscious. So that's a generic envy in all of us. And yes, I just wanted to bring this out because it's a very important factor, understanding envy and understanding faith. These two things, where they come from, how to get rid of them or how to develop them. Because otherwise, if we live our lives lacking faith or having envy, then we won't be able to realize this knowledge. So we all have to make a sincere effort to let go of envy consciously and bring faith into our lives consciously. I'll take a pause here, see if anybody has any in their mind.
Prabhu, there is definitely a point that, people are envious of Krishna, right? Because he's all powerful and I want to be powerful, right? But sometimes it always not the case, right? For example, I mean, I might think that, oh, you know what, Krishna can enjoy all he wants, but I also want to enjoy. Why not we both enjoy? So it's not more about like enviousness here. It's more like about I want to do it to ego, rather than envy.
Yes, it is ego. The reason I was saying it's envy because why do we have this tendency to enjoy? Because I see Krishna enjoying. That's why I want to enjoy. And that's there. Therefore, therefore I'm defining this as envy. Because Krishna is doing it, that's why I want to do it. That why should he just be the center of attraction? I should be. It's ego also, and there is envy also. And as I said, envy has all those aspects: lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, all of that in it also. So yes, ego is also a part of it. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Any thoughts? Okay. Second one. So these first three are very important. So we'll spend some time on these three verses. So the knowledge is king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Right? So this is an interesting way. Krishna is clearly telling him, Pratyaksha Bhagmam Dharma. Pratyaksha means you can actually see it. It's not like something philosophical. you can actually perceive it, this knowledge when you realize it. So that's why that's what Krishna is saying. So it's a very beautiful introduction to this knowledge that Krishna is giving us, right? So Raja Vidya, king of knowledge. But it can also be taken that Raja Vidya means knowledge that is to be given to the kings, the administrators, leaders, organizations, or organizers of a civilization, right? So yes, so that's what it means. So, and Krishna has indicated that spiritual knowledge is verifiable by one's own experience. So you can see that Arjun, he will verify it. He will when he'll fight the battle, he'll be able to verify that working for Krishna, having that knowledge. Because there's a huge difference between knowing and doing something. So yeah, you might know what it is, but you will not be able to experience it. That requires an extra level of effort. So we may know that there is some prasadam kept in the kitchen, but going and eating is in a different way. So that's what Krishna is highlighting here. So let's see what Prabhupada is talking. Prabhupada is highlighting what this tama mean here. Yes. So yeah. So that's what is being brought out here. That and also there is a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Which canto does it come in? 11th canto. Bhakti parishanu bhava virakti anyatha chai shatrika ek kalam prapadya manasas yathashnata shiyush tushti pushti anughasham. I forgot one word in there, I think. Shuddhape anughasham. So that when we practice bhakti, we immediately get taste. So we'll get taste, right? Tushti, pushti, shuddhape anughasham. So we'll get to fulfillment, we'll get strength, right? And we become peaceful and focused. So we'll not get attracted to lower nature anymore. That's going to happen. It's what's going to happen when we read this shastra. And Krishna is saying here, it's avyayam. There's one thing that Krishna is saying. It is everlasting. That's an interesting thing. It is eternally existing. And what is eternally existing? Is the perfection of religion. It's everlasting, it is joyfully performed. So that this knowledge is everlasting. And it's joyfully performed. So Krishna is asking us to take an action here. You should adopt it because it is everlasting and it is joyfully performed, and then you can actually relish it. So yeah, that's what Krishna is highlighting. Let's see what the third verse is.
And Prabhu, is it right to say that until so far, like until this chapter, Krishna has never mentioned any practice which is joyfully performed, except that what he's going to talk about? So far, he just mentioned the alternatives.
Yes, this is the only place where Krishna says this. Prataksha vagmam dharmayam su sukham kartum bhavyayam. Prataksha vagmam dharmayam means you can actually perceive it. Right? So that's why devotees, they've been chanting for 50, 60 years. Why? Because obviously they're having some taste of it, right? You cannot continue doing something for 50, 60 years every single day if there is no taste. You're not relishing it. That's prataksha vagmam dharmayam. And su sukham. It's enjoyable and it's avyayam, eternal. So there is nowhere Krishna is saying this to any other thing. Neither karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. It's only about bhakti. Is Krishna talking about this? Yes, you're right.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. It's a long purport. This is one of the long. Yeah, this is the longest purport in Bhagavad Gita. 9.2. Oh, 15.
We're 9.3 right now.
We're going to start 9.3, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So Krishna is now highlighting, after hearing glories of bhakti, still, if somebody remains faithless, what is the destination of such people? Yeah. So they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So that's what Krishna is telling us. So consequence of faithlessness is the continuation of the cycle of birth and death.
But Prabhuji, Krishna is not saying as a particular body, right? He's just saying back to earth, right? Back to material life.
Yeah, you can be anything: dog, cat, man, demigod, anybody. Yes, he's not highlighting that. The whole purpose of Krishna speaking Bhagavad Gita is that he wants all of us to get out of this cycle of birth and death. His goal is not to help us elevate from a dog body to a human body. That's not his goal. His goal is to completely wipe off this cycle of birth and death. That's his goal. Right. So if we don't attain Krishna, we will return to this path. In this, so verse Prabhupada talks about. Yes, the three divisions of Krishna conscious men. Can somebody tell me what are the three divisions? Does anybody knows about them? I think we talked about them in Nectar of Instruction. Anybody remembers what they are?
Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishtadhikari. Sorry, in reverse order.
Yes. So, so Prabhupada in the purport tells us about those three kind of people. So, Uttamadhikari, they are very well versed in the literature of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith, no chance of falling down. Madhyamadhikari is not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but they have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti is the best course, so they have good faith. That person also does not fall down. But the third one is the problematic one. They don't have faith. They're very difficult for them to continue to Krishna consciousness. And most probably they'll slip after some time. They have not yet gained adequate knowledge of Krishna through the scriptures. They don't read scripture. They don't read Prabhupada's books. If you don't read Prabhupada's books, we will always be Kanishtadhikaris. If you want to come from a Kanishta level to a Madhyama level where your bhakti is established, you don't fall down, reading Prabhupada's books is the most important thing that we can do. And it builds that faith that we are looking for to continue in Krishna consciousness. And what's this? Yeah. So these are some references. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can read them at your end. But there are very clear ways how you can discriminate between all three of those people. How do they deal with devotees? How do they deal with the other envious people and so forth? There are a lot of ways given. So you can see these. There is 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 45, 46, and 47. And then in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela also, this concept is being talked about in detail. But yes, what I just gave you the overview, what it is, what those three divisions of people are. That's Prabhupada is. So these basically sentences are from the purport. Prabhupada is bringing them. So yes, so those are the three kind of people that Prabhupada is bringing out. And the reason he's bringing that out is because Krishna is talking about them here. Who are not faithful, this is the Kanishtadhikari. They will fall down. But Prabhupada is giving us hope. Hey, you can come to the next level. You can become a Madhyamadhikari. Then you don't have to fall down back in this material pool of birth and death. Right? So faith is very important. We talked about faith in detail, right? We get faith from reading books. We get faith from association. And as I said, we all have to take inventory of what gives us faith, and we should record that. Right? And faith is very well explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudrid Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Karile Sarv Karma Krit Hoy. Faith means somebody is confident that just by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, all my other activities will be completed. So faith that Krishna is taking care of everything is faith. That's what faith means. That conviction that Krishna will take care of everything. So and faith can also be in a material sense, and faith can also be transcendental. The mundane faith, I think, is talked about in the 17th chapter. When we come to that, we'll read it. Here, Krishna is talking about transcendental faith. Right? That's what is being talked about. Can anybody think of reasons why we don't have faith?
No patience.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
No patience.
Okay, we lack patience. We want quick results. Okay.
Ignorance, Prabhuji, not willing to accept things.
Okay.
Broken trust many times.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. People have we have lost faith because people have mistreated us so many times. Yes. Yeah.
Also broken heart, Prabhuji.
Yeah, broken heart because all these are there. Yes. Yeah. Because and another is having faith on material things and getting that ego trip that I can figure it out. Okay, I can do it myself. So yes, there are a lot of reasons why we don't have faith. But if you all notice, we all do have faith, right? Every morning when you're driving on the highway, you have faith that all the other people on the road, they are safe. They're not just like crazy lunatics that they just start shooting from their car or start banging their car at other people. So we all have faith. It's just a matter that we don't put that faith in bhakti. So we just need to pick from one place and put it other place. Yes.
It's like we have no choice because car you have to go. Even in the school shootings, we still have to send our kids to school. There is no choice.
Well, there are choices, right? You can take a bus instead of a car. You can homeschool your children. Always options are there. Krishna doesn't leave us without options.
Yeah.
So the biggest reason I think is the fear, because faith by definition is something that you have to do even though you don't know the outcome of it, the future. And and the fear it actually stops us from doing that, so believing in Krishna that he's going to take care of it, because so that is probably one big reason, fear.
Yeah, that's also a very good reason. Yes. But we all have to understand faith is not going to come in one day for anybody. I remember, if I remember, like, what was that? Probably 11 years ago, if somebody would tell me, hey, let's read Bhagavad Gita. I remember one evening I came back from work and I was sitting and Shamati said, let's read Bhagavad Gita. And I sat down and you will not believe, I fell asleep. So, but then today I can read Bhagavad Gita and I relish reading Bhagavad Gita. And I also try to share it with others as much as I can, whatever my little knowledge is. So what I'm saying is faith won't be built in a day. Sorry, somebody's saying something? Okay. So faith is not built in one day. And one thing that I have learned from my experiences, introspection is very, very valuable. If you all take some time out to introspect, and it's not the experience, it's the reflection on the experience that will give you faith. For example, something happened in your life. I just gave you an example of my life, right? That my tire punctured and then I saw that. It's not the experience that I remember. It's the reflection. When I reflected on it, I felt that Krishna was helping me out there because he could see that, Prerna has to go to this other spiritual engagement and he will get laid there. I don't want to get him. So he came and helped me out in some way. So it's the reflection on that experience that built my faith. And sometimes we need a lot of experiences to accumulate before we become reflective, before we become introspective. Like Dhritarashtra. Imagine Dhritarashtra, 100 sons were killed. But then still he was living with, who was he living with? The ones who killed his 100 children. Vidura had to come and shake him out of his stupor that, hey, you're living like a dog at the place of people who killed your children, right? So all that accumulation, 100 children dying, all that misery had to accumulate before Dhritarashtra could be reflected. Also importantly, all our reflections, introspections should be based on Shastra. If you have two dots and you are going to, let's say, start scribbling from one dot, and you scribble, and you join to the next dot, that is okay. That is called introspection. However, if you start from one dot and you never reach the second dot and you just keep scribbling and all over the world you've been scribbling, that's called speculation. If you base your thought process in Shastra, that will be introspection, otherwise it will be speculation. And there is no end to speculation. People have come and told me, I have met people who practice impersonalism and so forth. They come and, the reason because Krishna's color is black, because we have to go beyond Krishna. Krishna represents all our bad karma. That's why he's dark in color. I have had people say such things to me. Can you imagine? Krishna himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Maratamata Paratram Nanme, there is nobody beyond me. And this is what people are getting. Because they're speculating. Their knowledge is not based on Shastra. So always be introspective, be reflective, accumulate your experience and reflect on it, but always on the basis of Shastra. And what does it mean, basis of Shastra? Always cross-check with Shastra. Right? So, how to do it? You don't want to have an experience and then confirm it. Oh yeah, see, this is what was happening to me. And then, Shastras are also saying this. Don't do that. Whatever is happening to you, you confirm that, okay, what does Shastra tell me about it? Rather than me making a judgment and trying to confirm it with Shastra. Don't do that. Whatever is happening to you, just try to say, okay, I'm envious right now or I'm angry right now. What should I do? There is something that I've been trying to achieve, but I'm not able to achieve. What does Shastra tell me? What should I do in that situation? Don't just make the decision. Don't make your faith emotion-based. Make it Shastra-based. That's what I just want to highlight here. So then it becomes valuable. And then you will see transformation in your life. Otherwise, transformation won't come. Kanishta, then as I was mentioning, that's the Kanishta-adhikari who is seeing Shastra through his emotions. Okay. That, I am feeling lusty, and I see Krishna is also feel lusty person, he is having Raslila. So my emotions are correct. That's not the way to look at it. A Madhyam Adhikari sees his emotions through Shastra. Okay, if I'm going through this, what does Shastra tell me about it? So a Kanishta Adhikari puts faith in himself. A Madhyam Adhikari puts faith in Shastra. So that's an important difference. So you all have some faith. We keep faith in so many things. Just you have to move that faith from those material things to spirituality. We have never met the pilot who's going to fly our plane, but we just have faith that he is going to take us to our destiny. He's not just going to go something, he'll make some mistakes. Okay. So faith is very important. And faith is of two kinds. One is called Laukika Shraddha. So Laukiki Shraddha means faith you're following because of the people around you. Many of the people, we are born into a family where demigod worship is common. So we also start doing demigod worship. So that's Laukik Shraddha. But we all have to have Shastrik Shraddha. Shastrik Shraddha means faith not based on upbringing, but based on Shastras, based on questioning. So that's an important part. So yes, Laukik Shraddha means sorry, lost my train. Laukik Shraddha Um, yeah, based on the people around you. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What I was thinking. So okay. So any thoughts? Anything on your mind? So yeah, go ahead. If anybody has any thoughts here, or question, comment, thoughts, anything. All clear? How to develop faith? What is faith? And according to those details.
Prabhu, I had a question. When it comes to faith, how do you gauge your inner compass to kind of see that you're in line with your faith and you're kind of staying, in the right direction, and you're not losing faith, and you're not going off track or off tangent, and kind of losing it, but you're not noticing it, right? You might be going off track because of association, right? You might be associating with different people, and different people come into your life, and they kind of take you off your guided perception of faith, right? What you have, that inner faith. How can you what can you use as an inner compass to kind of guide you and bring you back to where you're supposed to be? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Always check with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. That is the only way you can be sure, or you can fix that compass you're referring to, your inner compass. I myself cannot fix my inner compass because I'm not a perfect being. I can go back and check with somebody who has gone through what I'm going through, and he has applied shastric knowledge to that, and he's fixed that problem. I can go to that's a guru, it's a sadhu. So always talk to people. Always, we should all have mentors all the time. You should have professional mentors. You should have your spiritual mentors. Mentors are very, very important in our life. Only they can tell us that, okay, this is right, this is not right. And mentor is somebody whom you have faith on that I'll get the right advice. That person has given you some advice in the past that has worked for you. So you have more faith on that person. Okay, this person is whatever he or she says makes sense to me. So Prabhu, that's the only way we can do it. Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Become well versed in literature. We all should be very clear about Shastric knowledge. Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada said you should cram the Bhagavad Gita. Cram means you should know in and out of Bhagavad Gita. What is Krishna saying where? What is he saying? What does he mean by that? How do I apply it in my life? Where does Krishna talk about faith? Where does he talk about the three modes of nature? Which chapter is that? Where does Krishna talk about bhakti? All these things should be crystal clear for us. And whenever any of that problems come, your faith is shaky or anything happens, go back to Shastra, go back to your guru, go back to sadhu if you have somebody in your life, a mentor. So that's the way that Prabhu I do it whenever I have challenges in my life.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu, for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, yeah. Trying to do it ourselves is always going to be a big challenge. Because there are three kinds of devotees. You can say three kinds of, not three times, people doing bhakti at three levels. There are people who do casual bhakti. Those are the ones Laukik Shraddha people. Worldly, cultural faith, right? Doing bhakti because it's a part of their life, culture, upbringing. It's part of their life. They have kind of grown with it, right? And they have some faith in it, but not. It's more of a faith based on social identity. Bhakti is just one part of their life. It's like, oh, I go to cinema, I play football, I hang out with my friends, I enjoy all these things, and I do a bit of bhakti also. So that's a casual devotee. Next level of devotee is a committed devotee. Committed devotee is somebody who has Shastri Shraddha. Okay? Their faith is not just based on what they have grown up with in a tradition or culture. It's now based on a very serious understanding. It's based on philosophy. It's based on scripture, Shastra. And it's based on an intellectual understanding what they are doing, why they are doing. So that's committed people. So that's committed. And then the topmost is confidential devotees. Right? They are no more, they are not based on faith anymore. Their whole life is based on experience and realization. They've come to the level of ruchi, interest, asakti, detachment, bhava. They have a taste for it. Right? It's not because they're not practicing it because it's intellectual. It's not a cultural identity for them. It's just because they're genuinely practicing, because they're tasting something. So a person can go from that casual level to a confidential level of bhakti by taking shelter of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So there's no other. And what will your Guru tell you? Chant Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalau nasti eva nasti eva nasti eva gatiranyata. That's what the Gurus will tell you. So, yeah, so we all have to very consciously move from the casual level to the confidential level. And you all can judge it in your life. Nobody has to come and tell you, right? I have seen personally in I know people, I know devotees, whenever any challenge comes, what is the first thing they'll do? They'll remove bhakti from the picture. That is the first thing they remove. Oh, my sister was visiting me from India. Okay. Did you stop eating food? Did you stop sending your kids to school? Did you stop going to office? Why did you stop bhakti? Because you are a casual bhakti. We all have to move from a casual, at least to a committed level. That can only happen by focusing on Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Shastriya Shraddha, it should be based on Shastra. You all should be questioning everything, asking it, being introspective. Is this the right thing for me to do? Is this the right thing I should invest my time in? No? Should I procrastinate and do my chanting the last thing in the day, or do I do it as the first thing in the day? That will tell you. You'll get answers for yourself. Nobody has to come and tell you. And this is not just for you, Prabhu. I'm just giving a general statement. I'm not talking as what you just. Okay. So.
Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
you defined three Kanishta, Adhikari, Madhyam, and the Uttam, right? And you said like when it comes to like life situation, right? Kanishta Adhikari just looks for an explanation in the material world, whatever the situation may be. And then the Madhyam one actually looks at the same situation through Shastric principles, right? Shastric knowledge, why this is happening. That's the medium one. But the Uttam one, they do not look at their life experiences through Shastric knowledge. They look at how do they look at it actually?
So Uttam Adhikari, so it's like this, okay. Right now, we all are practicing, right? We all are in Vaidhi Bhakti. My Guru has told me, Prem chant 16 hours every day, follow the 4 regulatory principles, read Bhagavad Gita every day. I'm following it, but is my heart in it fully? No, it's not there, right? So I'm in a level somewhere between, you can call me Madhya Adhikari, right? I have faith in what I'm doing. It's not like I have no faith. I have full faith in it. But my conditioning is very strong and I have not yet been able to get taste out. Uttam Adhikari, the topmost one, he has got taste in it. He's fully understood the Shastra and now he's living what Shastras have taught. So it's not like Prabhupada is an Uttam Adhikari. It's not like Prabhupada was not reading Shastra. He was reading Shastra every day. He was giving classes on Shastra. But they were all coming from his experience. Right? A Madhyam Adhikari, when a Madhyam Adhikari is talking about it, it's based on his knowledge, it's based on his what he's reading in Shastra, what he is collecting, what he is using to build faith. Uttam Adhikari's faith is 100% fixed. He's now getting experience, he's now getting taste. So so he's also based on Shastra, but he's also getting taste out of it. I am at a level where I have not yet got full taste in Madhyam Adhikari, like as I would say. Did that make sense, bro?
Yeah, Prabhu. I think Kanishta, what you are saying, Kanishta is basically material totally. Medium is like
No, it's not
spiritual.
totally material. No, I wouldn't call it totally material.
Not Kanishta.
Because
okay.
so let's I'll quickly show you. Give me a second. I can pull it up. Where's my?
Because the way I understood it is like Kanishta is material, the medium is the the Shastric, and third one is actually practical.
Yeah. So
Experience, not
I
just
was
Shastric.
showing some references. I'll just quickly pull those up and I'll show you those. When we can just quickly read it through. 11:2:45 is the first one. I'll share this. 11:2:45. So the most advanced devotee sees within everything the soul of all souls. So this person is seeing Krishna everywhere. And that's what Krishna is teaching us. I'm everywhere. Everything is in me. Consequently, he sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord and understands that everything that exists is eternally situated within the Lord. So this person, he has read everything, understood it, realized it, and now he's living it. Madhyam Adhikari, he's selective. Okay. So when he's for Krishna, he has love in his heart. He's a friend to all the devotees. He shows mercy on the ignorant people, but to the envious, he stays away from them. Why? Because I'm not at a level of purity that I can even convert envious people into bhakti. Prabhupada had that quality because he's an Uttam Adhikari. We don't have that. Third one, which you're talking about, the Kanishta, he's not like not a zero devotee, or he's not a 100% materialist. He is engaging in deity worship in the temple, but then when he sees devotees, he doesn't behave properly with them. So what it means is that he or she thinks that Bhagwan is only in the temple, nowhere else. He's not in other people. So his understanding is very, very immature. Right? Prabhupada is calling him, or Karbhajana Muni is calling him, materialistic devotee. But he's still a devotee. So you cannot put him in the karmic section completely. He's still a devotee. He's putting in efforts, but he's at a very, very rudimentary state where his faith is very, fragile. He's still envious of other people. He doesn't see Bhagavan in others. So all that is still those impurities are very intense in him still. Did that help, Prabhu? Did this make
Yes,
sense?
Prabhu. Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. And I don't know, I showed that I don't know if but I can paste that slide in the group also. You all can read these purports. And also there are some references from Chaitanya Charitamrita that you can read and just get that clarity. Who's an Uttama, who's a Madhyama, who's that. Okay, what is the time? It's 8:15. Okay, so we can do some. So fourth verse, we're coming to the fourth. So now,
Prabhu,
if you
quick
see,
question.
yes.
Prabhu, does faith have anything to do with karma? Like does karma play a role in faith?
Let me show. I think I have a slide that I made based on my experience. Probably that might be helpful. Where is that slide? This here. Okay. Is this clear enough? Can you all see what is there? Is it visible to you, all of you? You can see, right? It's big enough. Okay.
Can you do slideshow mode?
Let me do that then. Give me a second. Okay. So how does faith build? And once again, I'm just sharing from my personal realization experience. Okay. Initially, we all keep doing some or the other good activities. It's called agyat sukriti. Right? You have done some pious activities. You start there. When that pious activity has accumulated enough, then Krishna will give you devotee association. He'll give you charity. He'll give you shastra. He'll give you prasadam. Krishna will give you so many things. Right? So that's where the things begin. When you keep doing what you have been prescribed, then all this builds. So the next things comes, you start feeling that all these impurities in my heart, they are too much for me to carry. I want to get rid of them, right? Because your faith is building, right? So you start building relationship with devotees. Earlier, when you were giving charity, you might be doing charity, but you might be doing it in a mode of passion or ignorance. You start doing charity in a devotional mode, in a mode of goodness. Humility comes. Your service, even though you might be doing service even as a Kanishta or in the early stages, but your service, it becomes more purificatory. You're thinking that, oh, I'm doing this for my own purification. Then a level comes when your chanting becomes extremely intense. This third level. All your heart's impurities have gone away. You are now very, very compassionate. You still continue to do all the things, reading Shastra, scriptures, everything. And then your chanting becomes very intense. Your chanting becomes intense and you become fixed in bhakti. Yes, so to answer your question, it does begin with some of the karmic activities that we do, either unknowingly or knowingly. When we do some good activities, they all start accumulating. Then Krishna gives us faith. He gives us association, prasadam, devotees, temple, books. However, yes, Julianyata, you have your hand, please.
No, finish us a sentence. I'll
Okay.
ask after you.
So what I was saying is, when Krishna, how does Krishna reciprocate? You do agyat sukriti, Krishna gives you faith. He gives you mercy. Based on your karmic activities, I did something good, it got accumulated. Now Krishna brought me to devotees. However, after that, Krishna takes a pause. Krishna says, I want to see, I gave Prem Dham association, I gave him devotees, I gave him good devotees, association, Shastra, Prasadam, everything, guidance. Now, what is Prem Dham going to do with it? Krishna takes a pause. He gives initial grace, then he takes a pause. If he sees Prem Dham using it for his benefit, yes, I want to move forward, Krishna. I want to associate more with devotees. I will cut down my material associations. I'll consciously change my habits. Then Krishna gives me more mercy. Mercy, pause, mercy. The first mercy, based on my karmic activities, Krishna accumulates and gives me mercy. So this is the way it builds up. So I just wanted to bring this up. Yes, if anybody has thoughts or comments, happy to answer.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up the point about sometimes it is usually said that when you disrespect a devotee, then Krishna like takes away that taste. Just like what you were kind of like explaining right now. So I was also thinking that that is also like it can also be like karma based,
Yeah.
just like Mataji was saying.
Yes, it can be karma based. Krishna, well, I wouldn't say Krishna takes it away, because Krishna himself in the second chapter says, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. That even little bit, it always takes forever. So there's no loss. What Krishna does actually is a more subtle thing. He will freeze them, right? Just like banks freeze your account if you are not doing the interactions properly. Similarly, Krishna can freeze our faith account if we do something wrong, like as you mentioned, disrespecting devotees. Then Krishna can do that. So he can freeze our account. Not that he will take it away. I mean, I just wanted to clarify that. I know you didn't mean it, but just the wordings can sometimes confuse us. So it's not like Krishna will take away our spiritual spiritual bank balance. He will freeze it. Then again, he will wait. Okay, Prem, go ahead. Now you'll have to put some more effort, more austerities, more penances, and so forth. And then again, then Krishna, okay, now I can unfreeze your account, right? So then it happens. So hopefully I answered your question, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhuji, can I? Are you able to share that slide with us?
I will share the slide deck with you. I'll put it in the chat box for you all. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So the first three verses, Krishna is talking about faith, being non-envious, and how this knowledge is the Rajavidya, and it's Prataksha Vagmam, and it's very enjoyable. So Krishna is establishing the benefits and how do you achieve this knowledge? By being non-envious and by having faith. So those are the first three things Krishna has very clearly established for us. And now he's going to dig deeper into this knowledge, and he will tell about himself now. Okay, so let's read that. This is verse 4 that we're doing. We are at 8:25. We'll wrap up this verse and then we'll finish off after that. A pop-up has come by. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This is a very interesting way to the way Krishna is explaining this now. Okay. When Krishna says that by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded, he is not talking about his own form as Bhagavan. He's talking about Brahman, right? The Brahm Jyoti, how the Brahm Jyoti is all pervasive. You can see Krishna's energy all pervasive. You put a seed in the ground, the seed fructifies, a huge tree, banyan tree comes out of it. That's Krishna's intelligence, that's his energy. So it's his unmanifested form, which is all pervasive. So that's the way to understand. That's what he's talking about here. His all pervasive form. that exists everywhere, and is that the spiritual reality that underlies the entire material manifestation. So that's what Krishna says. Sarvam Jagat is pervaded by me in my unmanifested form. So, he's starting the description of this knowledge by telling us that he pervades all existence. Right? And how does he pervade? We talked about all his energies in 7th chapter. That Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Khamano, Buddhi, Revacha, Ahankara, Etiyamte, Bhin Prakarashtana. Material, everything material, all material energies are his. Right? And then there is the spiritual. Right? And then he talked about him. Mata Paratram Nanyat Kinchidasti. I am Sutra Mani Ganave. So I am the underlying unifying aspect of creation. So here the word, the unmanifested means Brahmjyoti. He's talking about Brahmjyoti here, right? So now the other part, now if you see there are two parts, and then all beings are in me, but I am not in them, right? So that's another thing he's talking about. So all beings situated in Krishna. That means Krishna's super soul is sustaining everything. So when he says that all beings are in me, so he's talking about his super soul aspect, but I am not in them means he's talking about his Bhagavan aspect. Okay. So understand, this is going to be a bit complicated, so I just want to say his unmanifested form, that's his Brahman form, his Brahmajyoti, his all-pervasive energy. All beings are in me, right? Super soul. So all-pervasive, super soul. But I am not in them means Bhagavan. So he's talking about three different aspects in one verse. Okay, so don't get confused. What is he talking about? So his Brahman aspect, his Paramatma aspect, and his Bhagavan aspect. So that's what Krishna is talking about.
So, is there any so this talk about the manifested form, right? He's not in. Isn't it like a shlok or some reference where it says he's also not in manifested form because he's beyond both manifested and unmanifested?
Yeah, that was in the 7th chapter, right? We talked about it, that when he says he is not manifest or his spiritual world is not manifest, that means that it's not manifest to our material eyes. That's what. Here, unmanifested means, yes, again, the same thing. He's not manifested to our material eyes. I cannot see that all-pervasive energy of Krishna. So, yeah, he talks about that in the 7th chapter, or 8th chapter, actually. We read it, I think, towards the end of 8th chapter.
Okay, well, thank you. We will look at it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take a pause here because we are at 8:29. Let's see if Prabhupada is having. Yeah. Okay. Any last minute, anyone?
I had something to share about faith.
Yes, please
Like,
go ahead.
So I was watching this one documentary about how Jesus Christ was also promoting vegetarianism, and the maker of the movie was basically going through all these questions because he has been like a non-vegetarian all his life, and he just wanted to understand that why is it that if we are like followers of Jesus Christ, then why are we eating meat? So he had like this tough time asking the priest and whatnot, and ultimately he made this movie and found out the answer. And he was saying that like because because he had this faith, he ultimately came to the point where because he like endeavored through the difficult time, he had the faith. He ultimately understood that this was all Jesus, his arrangement to make further progress in his spirituality. And in the same movie, there was like he was like basically taking interview of all the animal activists and everything. So this one animal activist, he was like completely atheist, and he was like, the moment I saw the animal suffering, every aspect of religiosity died in me at that time. And I was just thinking like how there is, just because this one guy, he has faith, he also like was seeing all the cruelty, but he didn't just give up on God. He instead, like, just because he had the faith, he kept persuading.
Mm.
I just wanted to mention.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yes. Yeah, Jesus Christ, he clearly said, right? Prabhupada says that thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
But the Prabhupada was very angry when he was in France. He was talking to some Christian priests, and he said, you're not Christian. You're not following what Christ told you. Saying, he said, thou shalt not kill, and you've opened up like large scale slaughter industries.
Yeah.
But they try to justify, oh, no, he didn't mean about animals. He meant about men and human beings. All that nonsense is justified. But yeah, thank you for sharing. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.